Beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Would you be my neighbor? Welcome, everybody. People are coming on into the room. I think we're live, right? Our Facebook feed? Yeah, I can see it, so good. Welcome. I got a lot to talk about today, so come on in the room, turn on the radio. I don't know. It looks, oh, yeah. Because I don't have my YouTube. Oh, this is my phone. So what happened to my big monitors?
They didn't get a chance to charge from Sunday.
Oh, we ain't charge them up.
Yeah, I wasn't involved, you know.
Oh, so you throwing somebody else under the bus?
No, I didn't name names. I just said
Somebody else did it?
somebody else.
They didn't charge it?
Nope.
So I don't have my big monitor. Guess school started. Did it start last week? Started last week. Have we done a show since school started?
I don't believe so.
Last Friday. Let me tell you this. I'm so tired. Yeah, maybe we did. Anyway.
I think
These buses, man, the classrooms. So let's talk about the bus first. I now have to get up at the crack of toe jam, because if I don't, my kid will have to be at the bus stop at 6:30 in the morning.
Yowzers.
By himself. That's not going to happen, especially in the winter when it's dark. So I have to get up. I take one. Monique takes the other. The oldest has to take the NFTA from South Buffalo. Okay? So Carolyn said yes last week. My days are so mixed up, Carolyn. My days are so mixed up. I'm so sleepy. I'm in a fog. Because I got to get up and then stay up. Like, yeah. I got to get up and stay up. And so I'm missing that hour. And my body still won't go to sleep earlier.
Yeah.
Well, last night it did. We just crashed. It was just over. The whole house. It was just over.
I can believe that.
So so the oldest now has to take two buses. He goes to school in South Buffalo, in high school, right?
Is he on the 14 or the 16?
I don't know.
Oh,
16.
Yeah, I've had to do that route when I worked with Senator Kennedy. I had to, and I was in Amherst at the time, so I had to get to the university station, get on the train, and then I would take the train to Lafayette Square and then catch either the 14 or the 16.
Well, I don't know the bus. I haven't been on the bus and I don't know when. This is his first time ever on the bus. Ever in his life.
It's an experience.
Ever. And he's the only kid that comes whichever way that he comes. So he's on the bus stop by himself. And his mother is going to kill me. So we had this discussion in our house because she was like, well, can't we just get him a Uber pass? I think we involved you in the discussion.
Yes.
And I
politely walked away.
I said, no, he needs to learn how to catch the bus. But she brought up something interesting in our second discussion. I call them discussions. In our second passionate discussion on him catching the bus, and then I had to think about it. She said, in times like this, a tall African-American male alone in certain neighborhoods may be dangerous. I feel, and I had to listen, and I shut up and listened. He still caught the bus, but the point is, you think we've come from such a long way, but that's a mother's real fear of, him being targeted by possibly police, him being targeted by racists. But listen to this. So she shows him how to take the bus. The kid never has been on a bus. I'm going to say that again. Never has he been on a bus. Not by himself or with anybody else, okay? And so yesterday was his first day that we made him take the bus. So he calls me, right? He's supposed to be on the bus by this time. Hey, Papa, my bus ain't come. So I'm thinking you had to have gone to the wrong stop. It's just impossible because this is NFTA bus, not yellow bus. Okay, NFTA. So I say, well, I'm at such and such. I'm leaving. I was at the mall. I'm leaving the mall to get my phone fixed. I'll come to you. What corner are you on? He gives me the corner. I put it in the GPS, right? And so I am on the way, and I'm going to blame.
So let me ask: is this on the way to school or coming?
No, coming from school.
Okay.
His mother takes him to school, so we take our children to school, which has been really helpful with the younger one. I think to be in the car with me before he goes to school because his attitude has been a lot different. Like, because I think it's because Pops now has to come get you if you're in trouble. And just that little conversation on the way to school has been really healthy for us.
Yeah.
So I'm driving, and I'm going to blame this on a certain pastor who I ended up on the phone with. So I'm talking to this pastor on the phone, and the GPS is telling me where to turn, and I'm not listening to the GPS. I'm driving. So guess where I end up at? Right here at the church.
Oh, shoot.
Now, I'm still talking to the pastor in the back driveway. And then I get ready to get out of the car, and something says, your son. So I call him in a panic. Hey, are you on the bus? Because I'm thinking, it's been an hour now. You on the bus?
An hour?
Yeah. He goes, I'm still waiting for you. Did the bus come? Mommy called the bus station. They said it was a medical emergency. The next bus will be here in half hour. The bus never came. I go get my kid 2 hours later. Two. So
I had the exact same experience in South Buffalo, getting off work. And you know me, when I get agitated and I know the company has a Twitter.
You went to Twitter?
Oh, I was on Twitter standing on the bus stop because there was no notification. There was and there's no way for them to notify you when you're at the bus stop. But I was just so angry because I was literally standing across the street from Senator Kennedy's office.
Yeah. And no bus.
And it's now, like you said, it was almost 2 hours. It was
2 hours. 2 hours. And when I got there, the bus still hadn't come.
No.
And I thought, wow, what about people But
they did respond to me on Twitter, by the way.
Did they? Did they apologize?
Yeah, they apologized to me and told me what happened with the bus via Twitter.
Okay. Well, we didn't Twitter. We didn't tweet. But I'm more concerned about the school bus situation.
Yes.
Because, and I think we talked about this a little last week, with this shortage, man, it's bad. And here's what I'm most concerned about, parents, is about parents cussing out principals and teachers and bus drivers.
And bus aides.
I am hearing it is rampant out there. The school where my youngest goes to, the principal told Monique that he been called Uncle Tom. He been called all kinds of names, been cussed out by parents. Folks, I'm going to say several things. Number one, teachers are people too. And you got to leave your child with them after you done cussed out the principal and you done cussed out the teacher. You're leaving your child with them, who has to grade your child. And cussing them out in front of the students, to me, is horrible behavior.
Terrible.
You don't cuss out the teacher that you need your child to respect, especially around something that they didn't do. This one principal talked about how the parents cussing him about the bus. The principal does not do buses. The principal does education, protection of your children. At the end of the day, the bus situation, I ain't gonna say it's the fault of the school district. I think if you pay them more, I don't know. I don't know whose fault it is. Sam's listening, if Sam is listening, he'll tell. But at the end of the day, folks, number one, teachers are people too. Number two, you are leaving your children with those teachers. Number three, you got to educate yourself about whose fault what is.
Yep.
Now, Dr. Cash talking about he want to pull in the National Guard to drive the buses because it's happened in some states. Governor Hochul came out and said, we ain't using no National Guard to drive buses. I'm going to say this. Now, I get why she's saying we're not, but I do believe we are in a crisis here. And what is at stake is our children and their education and getting to school. Because if a child misses a school bus, most of the time, in many instances, they're not going to go to school that day at all.
Staying home.
If the bus is a half hour late, and especially in the winter time, that child is going to stay home. There's so many systemic problems right now for our children. And so I'm not totally against some volunteers. Now, I don't mean that they don't get paid, but those from the National Guard who have CDLs who would say, all right, put us on National Guard duty, we drive. I'm not totally against that. When Dr. Cass said it, I was like, that's far-flung. And I had to think about it. If there was a flood, we would activate the National Guard. If there was a natural disaster, we would activate the National Guard. COVID was a disaster, a health disaster, a pandemic. So I don't think Cash is totally off in looking for alternatives. But these parents cussing out teachers in front of students, and then you had a parent, I don't know the situation, I'm only going by what I read, that a grandparent that and I know personally that I was informed that one of the vice principals at my child's school got hemmed up by a parent physically. Now, you must have hemmed up the right one, because if you had got the right one, you can have this job. Somebody gonna strike back. By the way, somebody tried to break in my car last night.
What?
I know it's off topic, and I have the video and the pictures of him.
Oh, no.
I have a Tesla. You go up to a Tesla, it records you.
Poor Tink Tink.
Poor Tink Tink. So I got all the pictures. I got them in my car for the neighbors. Yeah, went right up to the car. 4:15 this morning. Pushing on all the buttons, trying to get in my car. Looking in the camera. Not knowing you looking in the camera. Video of it. So my kid sees that I'm watching it on the way to school, taking him to school. I'm not watching that. We were stopped and watching it. And my son goes, I told mommy that's the one who probably been going through our cars. Because if we leave the door unlocked by mistake, bruh, everything on the floor. Everything on the floor. Everything on the floor. I think he got in my Volkswagen the other day because the glove box was open. But I got your picture now, homie. I see you. And he said, what you going to do when you see him? I'm going to pull over. I'm going to hand him his picture. And I'm going to say, I'm going to ask you one time. Don't go through nobody else's cars in this neighborhood, because I got your picture and your video. Got your picture and your video. Anyway, off topic. Where was I at?
The teacher getting hemmed up.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So I think I went through my numbers on that. Yes. Number 5?
Number 5.
It shows a bad example for our children who we're saying don't fight in school. And it shows a horrible example when you curse out the person who has to teach your child, or the principal that's going to have to be there for your child, or cuss out the bus driver, because now you got bus drivers quitting, by the way. I would quit. I'd be like, listen, especially if you retired, like, I ain't got to do this. I done worked 2 jobs. I done worked at Bethlehem Steel, and I done worked at General Motors.
I did not sign up for this.
Carolyn Lane said I should have said, would you be my neighbor? I didn't say that today. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yes, you did.
Did I?
Yep.
I think she was talking about, too, my neighbor who going through my car.
Sticky hands.
Charles Calvin says they're doing it in Philly. Yeah, I'm not totally against it, folks. Again, when he said it, I thought it was bizarre, but
so did I.
If our most important commodity, our most important resource, our most valuable thing is our children, and when a pandemic hits and we cannot get them to education, I'm not totally against the governor saying anyone who has a CDL, we need this many drivers. We'll put you on your National Guard pay until, for so many months. And then they get excused from their job. They still get paid for their job. I think when you go on national duty, you're called to duty. You got a job. Your job still pays you. You're making the extra money on the bus. You only working in the morning and in the evening, and then our crisis is taken care of temporarily. So that's what I think. Stop cussing out these teachers. Stop cussing out these bus drivers, these bus aides. It's not their fault, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's bad because even for going to games, field trips, like they can't find drivers.
Yeah.
We had a game the other week, and they were like, "Oh, we don't know what bus your team got on. The other team was 20 minutes late because they were waiting on buses." So
wow,
there's all this collateral damage behind this.
If I didn't have like 10 jobs, if I ain't have 10 jobs, I'm not kidding you. I go get one of those. I'll be a bus aide. I ain't trying to be, but I have a CDL license. That's the crazy thing.
You have every kind of license.
I have motorcycle license, CDL license, pistol permit. I have anything that they're giving out. I have lived this life too long trying to be good. I want every license. Matter of fact, I went to Canada the other day. Folks, if y'all going to Canada, listen, I'm not even going to suggest where you should get your, because somebody going to be listening. Why you get, I got the test, and I've been over there twice. I got the test twice. I got it first time, and they didn't send me results to 9:58 at night, and that's a day gone. Because you have to be tested at least 3 days within your trip. So, which meant unless I was leaving the house at 10:58, that whole day was gone. So Monique and I went over Saturday, had a great time, had a robot service. Was it Saturday? Friday? Yeah, one of those days. Had a robot service. It was great. It was Saturday night. And then I wanted to go again, so I had to go get tested again. And then I went over again. I went over there again to Canada. What was my point? I don't know. You ever, so you get older, you start talking about one thing. If you get up, yeah.
That's
Shuki,
why I don't interrupt anymore.
Shuki said you have 13 jobs, sir. Oh, that is right. I forgot about the other two. But if I didn't have these 13 jobs, I would drive bus. I would get on the bus. I would drive. Because it's hard money, though. No, I could only drive one way, though. I could only do the evening run.
Yeah, you ain't getting up at 5.
I ain't getting up at 5, and I got to be bothered with people's kids hollering, and then I got to be bothered with somebody with a bonnet cussing me outside in house shoes and pajamas. If you don't get your house shoe pajama tail away from my yellow bus, I will smack you with this stop sign. I will open up this door.
My bus drivers growing up, they were fun. Like we used to have like races with other buses from
Oh my goodness.
from competing neighborhoods. So we would get to this straightaway and we would just be out. So we'd be like, beat bus 8. And the bus drivers every once in a while would acknowledge it.
Thanks, Jim.
So it was, I think.
Bus was fun.
Oh,
Let me tell you what you want to know for real what we used to do on the yellow bus? Can I say it already?
Oh, boy.
Nah, this is true. I was about to have more listeners than I've ever had. Woo! But we did used to put a coat over our head and kiss.
Oh,
not we.
Right.
Some kids did.
All right.
Some kid did. Some kids did. Nico say smack you with the bus signal.
Yeah. No, yeah, no.
Oh, in a minute, let your friends know we got to talk about it. It's a radio talk show. Last night's court decision.
Ooh.
2 court decisions.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that at 12:30. At 12:30, we're going to talk about the court decision of the state court and the court decision of the federal side as it relates, in Bishop Morton's words, as it relates As it relates, full gospel. Craig
Craig
gonna
must
call
not
me.
be listening.
Craig gonna call me. As it relates, that's what he say all the time. And maybe not with that high pitch of a voice, but kind of. As it relates to the mayoral campaign.
I smell rain.
And I'm also going to be asking a question, are you going to be voting for sheriff and how important it is to vote for sheriff? I know it's Erie County Sheriff, but that is important
Sure is.
to vote for who can lock your tail up and who might be who's in charge of the holding center. Now, the holding center ain't been that hospitable. And some people would say it ain't supposed to be hospitable. I disagree. This is United States of America. You are innocent until proven guilty. So don't treat me bad when nothing has been proven. I've been arrested, been accused, but you can't treat, no, you got to have the right sheriff. So at 12:30, we're going to talk about this decision. So get ready. We're going to talk about that. What else happened in the news this week? Did I miss anything else juicy? Oh, a kid got lost. Did he get dropped off at Tops or something? I saw it yesterday. You didn't see that? Mm-hmm. And mom was rather calm. I mean, she was upset, but she was calm. She was upset, huh? Yeah, it was on the news yesterday. She was upset, and I didn't see the whole thing. Because I think the kid walked in the room when. You should never. You got to be careful when you marry an only child.
Oh boy.
Because I like my time with mommy. Maybe I shouldn't say mommy with my wife. And then when she comes in from work, and then the little boy come in, and you're trying to watch the news together, just y'all two, and then he come in like mommy, and I'm like, what? He said mommy, and I said what? Because I'm like,
which means move, not your time.
These kids, man, they need mommy. Every time you get every time it's just y'all two, little candles burning in the living room, watching a little Netflix. Mommy, now you upstairs in your room playing your game. Now you got to come down and ask for some bologna. So you know what I did the other day? Since they want to eat up all the Oscar Mayer bologna, you want to know what I did, Mark?
What'd you do?
I went shopping the other day because we trying to meal prep. We trying to do better with our finances. We trying to do better with our health, with our body and our minds and all that, right? Mm-hmm. So I picked up the Oscar Mayer brand, and it was like $4 or something. And then I saw this other brand, and it's real thick bologna. Ooh. It's called something, I don't know, but it was $1 something. I put the thick bologna in the cart. So last night, Monique and I were talking about it. I said, yeah, I bought them some thick bologna. She was like, yes, and I bit into that bologna, and it's awful. I said, well, it was $1 something. And then I bought some ramen noodles, which I hate. But I didn't know, what is it?
Ramen.
See, that's how much I don't like them. Ramen noodles, and I must have bought the wrong kind. I didn't know it was flavors in the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's. I think everyone's favorite is chicken.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Then you got beef, shrimp.
I bought beef.
Spicy.
I bought beef.
Oh.
I didn't know that, so they dry dogged me, I guess, on the side. So we were out to dinner last night. Monique goes, the kids was like, why would Papa buy us beef? I was like, oh, there's a difference? I didn't know. I just picked it up, thinking the little knuckleheads would be like, ooh, we got some noodles that when we get home from school, we could just make our noodles. No. So Mama then says, well, I'll take it back and get the chicken.
Whoa.
Then, yeah, but that's okay. Here's the kicker. The little one says, I'm going to eat some of this now.
Absolutely. I told you, that's my guy.
But I said, why not just take some chicken bouillon cube and put it in there instead?
What you can do.
Yes. Monique was like, oh, no, you have to have the packets.
No, you don't.
What the heck?
No, you don't. And honestly, but my kids were the exact same way. So they actually like the cup of soup. So, you pour the hot water and you let it
that's
sit.
too expensive. That's too. We're trying to do better.
So they like that one. So, me, I grabbed the box of the chicken and a box of the beef. Like, let me switch it up a little bit. I still got that box of beef.
I don't. Lakeisha just said, cup of noodles, beef with bag shrimp. What? That's just as bad as the tacos in the bag.
That's not the one.
Chucky said, my baby. Janique said a concerned neighbor, took the 6-year-old home, and luckily the child knew his address and got in the car with her. See, that's how you train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will know how to get home. That's what the scricker said. The scricker said, you train him up in the way. That's somebody. Now, that child is a smart child. 6 years old, knows his address. And I bet, and mama, I got to say this, until the little boy came in and interrupted, Mama was rather calm and articulated her position well. She wasn't on it. Now, I ain't gonna. Now, I would have understood if she was cussing out some people. Now, I ain't gonna tell you no lie. You drop off my 6-year-old at Tops, I would understand. Now that she get a pass. So big ups to mother, or not just mother. Let me say this to parents and the village that teach their child their address before their first day of school. Is 6 years old. That means he's in kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
6 years old, you're in kindergarten, and you know your address. I know kids who know their address, their phone number, all that kind of stuff. You got to.
Yeah,
big ups to them.
I need more info in this story. How do you drop a 6-year-old at Tops?
Tops on Niagara, according to Janique.
That's crazy.
Shuki said, Kim, you see it? It's a little higher up. We got so many comments. Something Kim to win.
Oh, Kim Beatty for the win.
In 2 minutes, I'm talking about the court decision, the mayoral court decision in 2 minutes. Carolyn Lane said, he said, I'm going to eat this now. No waste over here. Carolyn, it wasn't about waste because his mother could have took it back. It was about boys. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. These boys, they different. This generation is different when it comes to eating stuff. Now, different. Now, we went to a restaurant yesterday, a nice restaurant, where they like give you real glasses and all the silverware match.
Yes. Real plates.
Plates. And remind me to shout out a restaurant that I went to the other day. Real plates and a flower shop, restaurant and a flower shop. Don't let me forget, restaurant and a flower shop.
Write it down.
And so the little one wanted to go. The big one didn't want to go. Maybe because he had been outside in the sun for 2 hours. I don't know. He was sitting by the water cooler. Literally. I'm not kidding. Just drinking water. So the little one said, I want to go. I got on shoes, a little jacket. Mama got on, her little fancy stuff. He's got on a bandana. You can't make this up. I swear we need a reality show. He has on a bandana with sneakers. Ooh. Sneakers. Bandana. Like you, Chico, and the man.
How much bling did he have?
He loves his bling. I don't know, because I didn't get past the bandana. And I'm like, number one, you getting a haircut. Woo. Number two, you're not going with me with a bandana on your head. So I said, go put on a shirt with a collar and let's get some shoes on. He said, I don't think I want to go. I said, let's go. And then Monique turns around and goes, what, y'all want me to fix you? No. And I bought, what did I buy? Ramen? I bought ramen. I said, listen, make you some ramen. That's when she told me that they didn't like it. And put some hot dogs in it.
Oh, that's old school.
I told him
nothing about that.
Put some hot dogs. Your brother, 14 years old, go in there and and they even make hot dogs different now. My mother make hot dogs in a microwave. I ain't never seen that. But put them hot dogs in a toaster oven, chop those joints up, put it in there, and eat. And we had leftovers. So let me say this for somebody who thinks.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on. Let's put a comment. Did
What?
You just say hot dogs in a toaster oven?
Yeah, that's what yeah, they come out just like they on the grill. What? You put them in the toaster oven, and we have a toaster oven that's an air fryer too. You throw that air fryer on, it chars up, it breaks up just like a Ted's hot dog.
And you said they different.
They different. They different. How else you gonna cook a hot dog in a frying pan? That day is over, homeboy.
I've cooked hot dogs frying pan.
That's over. That's
boiling
over.
Water.
No. First of all, I hate a boiled hot dog.
What?
That is evil. That's from
Boiled
the pit.
hot dogs with grits?
No, that's from the pit. And so is bologna, by the way, from the pit. So I always buy bologna so that they will eat the bologna and stay away from my roast beef and smoked ham. It's half hour.
Wait, so do you, with that dollar bologna, still have the ribbon? Do they still make the bologna with the ribbon on the side of it? You got to take off before you put it on the sandwich?
With the rib? Oh, I don't know, because I don't eat bologna. I hate bologna. We have bologna so much in my house. I hate bologna. I hate green peas. Those are two things that you have to pray for me for, because I don't bring me no green peas. I told Monique this when we first got together, and one day she cooked and had green peas on the plate. We had a spirited discussion, and the spirited discussion was, why would you give me green peas when you know I hate them? And her answer was, I only gave you a little bit. It don't matter whether it's a little bit or a lot. I said I don't like it. I used to gag on green peas and spit them in a napkin. And we didn't have a dog, or else I would have threw the green peas on the floor and let the dog eat the green peas.
Does Mama Pridgen know you didn't like green peas?
Yes.
Does she still make you eat them?
Not really, but kinda. It was like, by the time I just challenged it all the way and would sit at the table. See, it was the old school stuff where you're going to sit here until you finish it. And guess what Darius would do? Sit there.
Me too.
Now, and then it just got to be, she found other stuff. I can eat green peas if they mixed in with other vegetables and I can't take them, but you cannot give me.
My preferred method.
And my father loves green peas. He'll eat it right, just green peas for dinner. Green peas.
Oh, God.
Anyway, I'm sick. I'm sick right now. What did Janique just send me? It was a news break, but I can't.
Maybe that's the article about the boy, because I said I was looking.
Oh, okay. So Janique just sent it. All right. I'm getting ready to talk about this. Carolyn Langdale says, yes, I do like on the grill. Oh, on the grill is definitely the better.
Oh, that's preferred.
But once it gets cold out, they've got those indoor grills, but they don't give you a smoky flavor.
Oh, with propane, I'm outside in the cold.
That's not real. That's not real. Propane is not real. I do have propane, but if I cook something on the propane, it's going over many times right over to the charcoal. I got to have the charcoal smell. It's got to smell like you put a lot of lighter fluid. Oh, you ever had somebody barbecue and they put too much lighter fluid? Yes. And you'd be like, this, oh God, did they spray the lighter fluid right on the food?
And some people do, because they be trying to squeeze it through the grates.
Well, let me tell you how cheap I am. I left my charcoal out the other day and it rained on it. I put that joint in a paper bag and I'm drying it out right now in my basement.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. I'm not. Listen. I'm teaching people to do better financially. I'm doing better financially. You don't throw that out. Just like we had extra bread and Monique wanted to throw it out. Somebody had bread. I'm like, you better put that in the freezer. Ain't nothing wrong with frozen bread as it thought. You throw it in the microwave real slow. You just leave it out. Don't even put it in the microwave because sometimes it gets too hot. You leave it out. It's just as good. Don't nobody know. If you dress it right, y'all young people got to learn this, Mark. I'm sorry. The freezer is for more than y'all, what you call those, the things pizza things you put in pizza pockets. The freezer is for more than a pizza pocket. The freezer, I bought too much of that sauce at Swiss Chalet the other day. I'm freezing it. I'm pouring it in. Let me tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm pouring it in an ice tray. I'm going to freeze it. That way, when I want some of that gravy, come on, teach Pridgen.
Now, that makes sense.
You go down to the ice tray, and you take it out, and one of them, heat up that one, and you got you some Swiss Chalet sauce. Come on to the meeting. Come on and talk to me.
That, I'm with you on. This frozen bread at the bag, was it? No, wait.
No, we were somewhere they had extra bread. Or I think we had some people over something during the summer, and Monique's mother was like, here, y'all can have this extra bread. And Monique was like, oh, my, what are we going to do with that? And I was like, we going to put it in the freezer. I got 3 freezers in my house. 3.
That's different. I'm with that.
We got 3 freezers. Put them in we're trying to do better. I got a full one of them upright freezers.
Yep.
A nice one with the temperature on the outside. I bought at a estate sale for $75.
That's crazy.
Who you better? I'm trying to teach people. Trying to teach people how to do this stuff. $75. So anyway, we would still go to the grocery store though. We got all this meat in the freezer. Why are we going to the grocery store? So this week we was like, let's take the meat out the freezer. That's probably freezer burned in green now, and we're gonna cook that. Cause even a freezer,
Not freezer burned in green.
Madeline Scott on Facebook says, yes, freeze it. These youngsters don't know nothing about that, Pastor. Amen. Lakeisha Benning says, bread pudding. Yep. We've been going in. You trying to eat all fresh stuff, fresh vegetables. I'm trying to stay in fresh. We don't always make the mark. Because I had to cook Sunday because they went to the football game. And I cooked a rotisserie chicken on my set it and forget it.
Watch out there.
I got to set it and forget it. I made that. And I made some yams, and I made some, sweet potatoes. You know there's a difference between sweet potatoes and yams.
There really is. People don't know that.
They don't know that. I made some sweet potatoes, and I made some greens. Now, I did have to run the tops for the greens. me and, what's her name, Sylvia's get along real good.
Real well.
Now, I did doctor it up.
You have to.
And yams. The boys, I made enough that it should have last 3 days.
No.
Mark, that night I got up because I was sleepy. Y'all want me to tell y'all the truth? I had an attitude a little bit. You want me to tell you why?
Why? Tell the people.
Monique and the boys went to the game, right? Mm-hmm. And I cooked, and I had it perfectly timed so that when they came home, they could eat. Like I literally, when the game was over, I set it and forget it. That's an hour and 15 minutes. I already had my greens simmering, like you got to simmer greens in a can. I already had my yams in the oven. I had everything ready. So then she called me. I called her. I'm like, hey, babe, you in the car? Yeah. Oh, we stopped by such. They was having a little tailgate party. I said, okay. So it was 2 hours by the time they got home.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I was a little quiet. So anyway, I had a headache for real too. So I went and lay down. I got up to eat. Mark.
I don't even want to know where this story is going.
It was still some chicken, because they do leave me the white meat, because that's my favorite part. It was still a few sweet potatoes, and it was still a little bit of greens. The boys, these kids are different. They different, Mark. They don't have they don't have ends to their stomach.
They're growing boys, and I really didn't realize the situation my grandmother was in.
Yeah.
Until my kids were here for the summer, and I'm like, oh, this makes.
But Mark, this is what I don't understand. And Lakeisha said I always eat greens and potatoes. I love greens and sweets. My grandmother, who was never wealthy, right, lived on a little budget. How she always had food for all of us. Chicken never ran out at my grandmother's house.
Never.
It was always in the middle of the stove. We lived in paired projects. The electric stove in the middle of the stove on a napkin.
Yep.
But if somebody else came in, it seemed like there was always enough chicken and rice and gravy. It's never enough in my house. And it's only two boys. One female who really just doesn't eat a lot because she can't eat. She just don't eat a lot, and she ain't had the surgery. When I got ready to say can't eat a lot, it would have been a rumor she had the surgery. That ain't the deal. Certain things make her stomach hurt, so she can't. Yesterday, the state appellate division denied the mayor's bid to be on the ballot. The federal court was supposed to make a decision today. And out of nowhere, like during the newscast or right after, there was breaking news that the federal government has issued a stay, which essentially, because courts, from what I heard, don't like stepping on each other's toes,
right,
which essentially said that the mayor will not be on the ballot. So now the military goes out, I think, this Monday or something, or this weekend or something.
I think they have to be printed today.
Right, and they've
Yep.
got to be certified that
Yep.
that they are correct, and then they go out. So several things to say on this, and I think now it wasn't about who was the judge. First, I want to get that right. It wasn't. I know a lot of people felt that Justice Sinatra should not been the one to hear the case. I am one that tends to agree with that. I think that when it's obvious now, they did find that he had given to the Brown campaign, but really he didn't. So basically, I mean, it's complicated. Basically, his law firm did. So what they did is made all lawyers, it looks like, give, and they put him in for like $4, right? Because I think he's a Republican, obviously.
So, and just for clarity, so the new campaign finance laws make you break out all the members of an LLC
Of the law firm.
organization or any of the organization. They have to be spelled out in campaign
Of who?
finance.
So
Yes.
they weren't going to put him as the one who gave 2,000 because he's Republican. Byron Brown is a Democrat. So at the end of the day, I do feel that the judge, even though he says, "Hey, I talked to other judges," hey, that's still not. It doesn't. If anything, it doesn't look fair. It just doesn't.
Doesn't pass the eye test.
Yeah, and why not just recuse yourself and get out of that and let somebody who has no connections to either side, either to India or Byron, and hear the case. So I do totally agree with the judge should have recused himself. But that is not why the appellate division said Byron Brown's name shouldn't be on. It was basically based on judges are not legislators, and the legislators made a decision on dates. Now, if you don't like the dates, you go after your legislator.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, the state has a right, and this is just my opinion, to set those dates. Now, I don't fault the Brown campaign for going to court, and I don't fault the Walton campaign for going against it. That's the reason
Or the Board of Elections.
Or the Board of Elections. That's the reason we have checks and balances and different levels of where we can go. So now there is, so that the Write Down Brown campaign is still going. India is still going on her line. I want to know from the people out there, what do you feel about the decision that was made last night? You can talk to me on Facebook Live, or you can call us at 895-8222, extension 223. We're mourning with the family. It just came up on my thing, Hazel Atkinson. It's the stepmom of one of our very active members. She's being buried right now from the Lincoln Memorial United Methodist Church. Our hearts are going out with them. 895-8223, extension 223, or just comment on Facebook and I will read it out loud. Do you feel that the appellate court was right? Do you feel the appellate court was wrong? What do you think now happens with the race for mayor? What do you think now happens with the race for mayor? I ain't gonna put you on the spot, Mark. I ain't putting you on the spot.
I'll answer.
Do you think the appellate court was right or wrong?
I agree with the appellate court. After reading some of the article, and you quoted the exact line that I've been quoting, judges aren't legislators.
Right.
And the burden of proof, because they were trying to use the argument that him not being on violated constitutional rights. And they're basically saying there wasn't enough in the case to prove that we're blocking constitutional rights to run for an election. So I agree with the judges. Like, if this was something they did mid-campaign, all right, I can see the leeway. They changed these dates last year. So I agree with the judges, but like you said, I don't fault any campaign or Board of Elections for doing anything that they did, because this is all still part of the process.
It's a part of the process. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, hi. How is everybody today?
Good. How are you?
Katrina Martin Bordeaux.
What's up, Katrina? Good.
Hey,
What's
not much.
what are
Not
you
much.
feeling?
Calling in to weigh on the subject at
Come on,
hand.
weigh in.
All right. Well, as of course you just explained how the Brown campaign will not have the Buffalo Party line, and the write-in campaign continues. We actually never really, campaigned or canvassed on anything else but the write-in. So we're just going to continue to go ahead as we had been doing. The point of making an attempt to create a line is just to make it easier for voters that would like to, vote for Mayor Byron Brown. But, with that being said, we're still spirited, and, we're going forward. And me personally, I am a bit of a competitive person.
I've seen. I see. I didn't know.
The write-in more so. I'd rather do the write-in.
All right.
So,
Thanks, Katrina. She says she's rather competitive. Is that what you call it? I don't think I've ever seen Katrina more in an election than this election. She is all in, both feet. Call me. Tell me what you think. 895-8222, extension 223. That's why we're here. We're here for the conversation. But I'm going to be honest. I'm here for a constructive conversation. I think this thing is going to get really, really nasty. Really, like more than we've ever seen. And I don't think it's necessary. I just don't think it's necessary. I think you go out there. Now, I'll say this. Now, I am a process person, and I said it before. I've been the primary winner, and I've had people go out and make a line against me. I didn't challenge it. I let them run against me. I always say, I might not feel that way, but I always say they're not really running against me. They're running for a position. So I try but when you're in election mode, so much happens in your head, right? But I've had people who utilize the process, and I was okay with it. At the end of the day, I do feel Byron Brown has every right to write in. I also feel that you have to then, if you acknowledge that, I have to recognize that there was a Democratic winner to the primary.
Absolutely.
Right. So from there, you got to make a decision. From there, you have to make a decision. And I think that's where people have got to get to. But don't let, and this is what I say to listeners and say to people all the time when they, people call me all the time, who should I vote for? And I'm like, you should you have to make a decision. But this is what I always tell them. Don't go by just the hype of any campaign. You want to go by what is this person off saying they're going to do that I want done in my city. And sometimes you got to dig past all of the hype to get to the real facts. Mm-hmm. To get to the real facts. I talked to, and I hope I won't say who, obviously, but talked to a very dear friend of mine today who was nervous about getting vaccinated. And they said, yeah, well, people are saying this on the internet, and I lost it a little bit. And I said, on the internet, I said, this here goes some facts. I have not had one funeral at True Bethel since the vaccination came out that they died from the vaccination. That's a fact. But I have had a funeral at least every other week almost of somebody who didn't get vaccinated who died, and many who left children.
Yes.
That's facts. So I can give you those facts. I can introduce you to those families. I can tell you the names. People on the internet can tell you, well, I know somebody in Kalamazoo who got the vaccine and they died right there getting the vaccine in their arm. Who? And if it was one compared to the millions who got it and who are still living. So I bring that up, not really about the vaccine, but about listening to what people say. And saying, well, such and such told me, get the facts. I don't understand. This is what I don't understand. How we have more information at our fingertips now.
Yep.
And instead of going to reliable sources, we go to Facebook and Twitter to find out our information about what a mayoral candidate believes in or what a vaccine is about.
And you have to understand, half of the things you're seeing on social media are being sent to you because of what you're researching, what you like, what you're scrolling past. So they're targeting demographics to give you misinformation.
Yes.
This was actually...
Remember that happened in the presidential election all the way from overseas.
But you know who actually started it was the Obama campaign. The Obama campaign was the one that showed, I think the 2008 was the one that showed America how social media can be used.
Yes.
And how you can target campaign.
But remember, I don't know if you remember, Katrina herself was a target of that, of trying, I'm almost sure, trying to get her to participate in some of these rallies, and she couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And this was something happening from overseas.
Yeah.
And so, folks, come on. If this is happening overseas in a presidential election, realize there are some people who never want certain communities to get vaccinated so that you can die.
Yep.
You can die. And so now you kill off more people in an already suffering community with innuendos and lies. I'm telling you the truth. I'm burying these people. I know what they have died of. And we don't always say it at funeral. If the family doesn't give you permission, and even if they do, I don't get up and say, oh, I'm burying this person, they died of COVID. No, at the end of the day, I know every other week I'm burying somebody with COVID, but I haven't buried one person who's got the vaccine. And again, the reason I'm saying this is because in a mayoral election in the second largest city in the state of New York, there will be that kind of stuff out there that will tell you things that are not true, and all the time is not coming from our community.
And I'll be honest, and that's for any of the candidates. Like, you could get false information from both sides. And it's, like you said, it's deciphering, is this a credible source? And sometimes, even if you do click on the link, you have to look at the link to make sure it's not Buffalo News Post.
Right, because think about the paper that was out before, and I won't name it, but, you know, had all these articles about me, and people were really believing them.
I used to get those calls.
They were like, did Pridgen, and I'm going like, what? He got arrested, or did the FBI come in? And they were believing it.
Yep.
Lakeisha says, even though the election is court, will the people's vote still be the outcome? Yes. So that's a really good question. So the race is not over. There still will be an election in November. The only thing the court decided is whether Byron Brown's name can be on the ballot. And as of now, the answer is no. And unless the Supreme Court gets involved, this is done. Shuki says it's got to get ugly. Because the focus isn't on the people, it's on the win. And that's what I tell people all the time. Keep your focus on not just the prize. You got to keep your focus on your purpose. And if you don't articulate to people what your purpose is, and it's just about slinging mud at each other, because everybody got mud they can sling. Everybody got either true mud or made up mud. So if this is about to be a mud fest, at the end of the day, you don't believe this, somebody can come right up the middle and do a write-in campaign who ain't playing with mud. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I just say, don't be a mud fest. Stick to the issues of what it is you are saying you're going to do for the people of Buffalo.
Hold on, but since we got 5 minutes, I was going to say we got to get to your shout out. So the restaurant.
Oh, the restaurant. Thank you. La Verdad. Sorry, and I speak Spanish. La Verdad. I said La Verde. Ate over there the other day on Lovejoy. Wonderful place. They have outdoor seating, and they're not a sponsor, so I'm just saying. And the food was good, and the hospitality was good. I'm going to tell you this, though. Call in advance. Everybody's having trouble as far as having employees and all that. So now when I went the other week, she wanted people to call in advance, even if you wanted to sit in, so that they could get your food started, which I rather like, because I don't like really sitting around. You know how you go out with somebody, now you got to think up stuff to talk. Unless you're with your wife or your husband or whatever, right? Okay, so I wanted to send a big shout out to her, and then Anderson's Flower. I sound like I'm giving them a commercial, but I'm not. African American owned flower shop. yesterday,
Fillmore.
right on Fillmore. So the church was we buy a lot of flowers for people in the hospital. We were using another place, no disrespect to the other place, but it was getting a little skimpy on those flowers. Anderson's, I'm telling you, I sent a couple personally yesterday. They were hand delivered by Anderson's, by the folks from Anderson's. They were bigger because I just called in. I didn't even see the flowers. And the flowers we've been sending our members from Anderson's has just been wonderful. So y'all support Anderson's over right in the neighborhood. And not just people in the neighborhood, your jobs, all that kind of stuff, your funeral arrangements, when you're sending something, go through Anderson's. I promise you, we've been using them here at the church now a little over half a year. We have not been disappointed. And let me tell you this, if I was disappointed, I wouldn't say it here on the air if one thing went wrong, because that's what we have a tendency to do. I ain't using them no more because I ordered red roses and they was a little orange. Anyway, Anderson's, please check them out. So I had to give them a shout out. I'm telling you, because yeah.
Sponsorship information is coming.
Duncan Kirkwood. Katrina uncovered the group. See, this is why I like this show. Blacktivist, which was a Russian troll bot. We still don't know who was putting on some of the stuff during the stuff last year. Chucky, that's the family. Oh, that's the family? Well, tell them I sent it out. Danetta McKinnon, that's right, Anderson's. Oh, she sent the number, 896-0458, 896-0458. Yeah, so I sent flowers yesterday. All right, I got to get ready to get out of here. We talked about a lot today.
Yeah.
I really hope my wife wasn't listening today. Oh, she could go back and look on Facebook. Couldn't she?
Sure can.
I'm gonna buy some more flowers.
Or YouTube.
I'm gonna buy some more flowers before I go home. I'm gonna buy some more, or maybe I'll cook because it's Friday she put up on the schedule.
Friday.
Friday, right? Yeah. So anyway,
not for those who work every day of the week.
Hobson's the doctor at dry cleaning 87. Now this is a commercial. This is a paid commercial right here.
Yes.
874 East Delavan. This is a paid commercial.
When you got graphics.
Oh, Duncan said he's been waiting to sponsor a show.
Hey.
Duncan, you hear me telling him, I'm ready for your money.
Duncan has my number.
Duncan's got a book out. See, I gave him a free plug. Brian, and he bought book bags for kids at True Bethel. Not at True Bethel, gave him True Bethel. Anyway, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home, 3 locations to serve you, 347 Peckham, 2528 Bailey, 1275 Sycamore. In your hour of need, 845-5545. They've had both my grandmothers. They've had most of my family members. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. And I take them there because you look, and it look like they looking back at you, but their eyes closed. Yeah. My grandmother's wig was a little crooked, but that wasn't Brian's fault. Oh. That was my aunt's fault for messing with that wig. But I straightened that wig out, and Mary looked good. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. They can't be responsible if you mess with the wig. Until next week, power to the people.